Warm welcome, guys, to the Quintessential Experience, the Quest podcast with Sipo. I'm your host, Ugabo Xosho Titipo Nosinga, Umtamlamba, Musini, Basemlanjini. I'm back again, part 4. Part 4 of the ZCC series videos I've been doing. So, in this episode, I'm going to be focusing on what happened in 1985, the visit of then President of South Africa, P.W Botha, known as P.W Botha, visited Moria during the Easter. So, him visiting Moria polarized the country, divided people. They were like, this is an apartheid leader who is representing a white minority. And remember, guys, apartheid, black people were segregated, were marginalized, put in townships. It was very hard during the apartheid time. Our parents suffered, grandfathers suffered for this country to be liberated and to be where it is now. That's why we must actually move the job they did forward. Actually, also, we must also fight and strive for a better society. A better society for all, especially black people who continue to be relegated, treated as secondary citizens. We need a society that is antithesis this coloniality and this neo-apartheid that is continuing. So his visit, people like Desmond Tutu as church leaders were fighting this apartheid, but we actually need to look at the stance of ZCC. Their stance was, they are apolitical. They don't want to get into politics. Their stance was, they're going to become apolitical. They don't want to mingle in politics. They just don't want to affiliate themselves with any party. And remember, it was apartheid time, 1985. And that weekend, there was a lot of unrest. There was a lot of unrest in the country. And the visit of P.W Botha visiting Moria, and he addressed about 3 million people there who gathered in Moria. By the time it was called Northern Transvaal, Pietersburg, which is now called. So a place now which is called which was called Polokwane, now it's called Polokwane now. Then it was called Pietersburg in Limpopo province. So on the speech, he was given a chance to actually address the crowd, the people, the congregates which were gathered there in Moria. And the surprising thing was, people were clapping hands, each and every phrase he was speaking there, people were clapping. His speech was, people were applauding him. So that got people surprised, because there was a racial war, racial injustice at the time, apartheid. So they were surprised why they were cheering P.W. Botha. And he said that he loves the ZCC people, congregates, because of they are people of law and order. And then he also quoted the scripture in the book of Romans 30 that people must obey the authority, the government. And the ultimate, the biggest authority, the first authority, it's God. God uses the government to govern people. They recognize God. So he even gave His Grace Reverend Dr. Bishop P.W Lekganyane the Black Bible, an Afrikaans one, for him to, as a gift. I think they gave him an award also on that day. So there were reporters there also the New York Times was there. So the story made it to the front page of the New York Times by then. So it was a big thing in the country, and a lot of people died on that weekend, Easter weekend. Black people around the townships in the country. It was sad, and may those people who lost their lives rest in peace. And everyone, condolences to everyone who lost their loved ones during this apartheid time and colonialism time. May they find healing. It's sad how black people, where we come from, our history, is full of trauma, pain. So a lot of political parties like the UDF, they were actually against ZCC for them inviting P.W. Botha. They said they also blamed the ZCC that they should use the numerical majority to become a political party or be involved in fighting the apartheid government. But ZCC refused because of it had a stance. And when you look at from the ZCC's perspective, their story, they're actually right. And also from the perspective of the people, they're also right. So it's one of those things where they were just being true to their principles and values, that they are for peace, they are for love. Because of the speech of Dr. Engenas Lekganyane, the bishop, spoke about the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the book about love. Love, which is patient and kind, does not envy, and through love we shall conquer all. It's their stance. I actually respect it. They were fighting apartheid, but in a different format, in a spiritual manner. So it's one of those things where they were caught between a rock and a hard place, and they had to stay true to themselves and actually be about peace and bring everyone there. The leaders are welcome there to the church and doesn't discriminate. So yeah, it was tough, but there they were celebrating 75 years. It was the 75th anniversary. So now, which means they have 113 years. Should applaud that. It's not easy going through those stages of colonialism, apartheid, even now in this neo-apartheid. They're still going. May the church grow more and more, and people should realize that we are all fallible, we are all sinners in this world. We're always praying for forgiveness. Nobody's perfect. No church is perfect. So we must actually be about peace and love and become the bigger people, the bigger person. I hope you find peace. I hope you find love. Peace, guys.